listening to the Double D Experience, boy. Again.
Again. At, by the time this goes up,
he doesn't know he's a god, does he?
It's tough to be a god.
God of War 3 is going to be a musical like the Joker sequel.
Because Kratos is just literally beating the shit out of cosmic beings. He's like singing.
Isn't there some like...
What could I say except you're welcome? Boy. Isn't there some like spoiler, like, spoilers I guess, isn't there like some spoiler DLC or something where like he meets the original trilogy Kratos or something? Yeah, it was the Valhalla DLC, which...
Yeah.
Guys, I'm slowly knocking off games off my list today. Well, not today, but I guess, well, like, you know, before the year ends. I finished the first God of War because I don't got a PS5 and I can't play Ragnarok until it comes over here to the PC. You know, the better system. But,
I thought about getting a PS5 because I would like some sort of DVD player. But, like... I'm not gonna use it for much else. The library is just not big enough to drop $500 on it. It just isn't.
I would wait. I'd get a refurbished system, TBH. Like, if I really...
How much less could I get that for?
Get like $450.
That's not
even then. It's still crazy.
If Nintendo ever drops a high quality enough... Shut up, phone. If Nintendo ever drops a high quality enough console that has a fucking DVD player, it's over. But that's never gonna happen. I doubt it. You know, not with the hybrid model, because then how is that gonna work? You know, like...
TBH, like... I haven't heard anyone say that they're looking for a DVD player in their home console, like, in a long time. Like, not since PS2, really.
No,
like,
no one is.
I miss those
because
days,
of streaming services, Dennis. Because of streaming services, and no one wants to do that. But then all my favorite shows get pulled. And so I want to have some shit on some physical Medea.
Medea?
Yes, a physical Medea. And just get it back in there, you know? So
there is a Slim. That's for $450. Never mind.
Fuck you. Like God. And it looks like a router, and it takes up so much space on my damn desk. And don't even get me started on the Xbox. I don't understand why the fuck. Except for maybe Game Pass is like the only reason I can understand people ever purchasing that. To be frank, that's like the one thing that I feel like sets Microsoft a little bit apart that sort of justifies getting an Xbox. But otherwise, I don't understand why the fuck you would. You know, PlayStation's exclusives are so much better, honestly. And, well, what was that?
$430 at GameStop for refurbished.
Wow, that's so, wow. Wow. Whatever.
Yeah, pre-owned's the same thing too. Yep.
You know, my dick is pre-owned, but that shit's worth more. She pointed at it, Dennis, and said, "That's mine." But wouldn't do nothing with... Okay, no, that's still a story for another time.
Oh, her.
So it slips sometimes. I apologize. Well, before this goes up, the new year will not be out yet, but it will be a few days. I still don't have plans because I'm a bum and a loser. I'm trying to make plans with people. trying to do anything. Honestly. So I'm not at home with my parents and my parents' friends. So I can party with my parents' friends.
Or my thoughts.
Or my thoughts. And honestly, if I can't wind up making plans for New Year's, I think I'm just gonna stream Nasby and just try to get the 1200 medal that night and just play Nasby like nonstop. Maybe I'll do that if I can't wind up making plans with anybody, but...
I play you.
You play me? You play me, Dennis? play with my heart like a fiddle?
Also, like David, can you buy me a Nintendo Switch Pro controller? I will pay you. Thank you.
Anyway.
I actually do need this, so thank you.
Yeah, speaking of Nintendo, my time with the Nintendo holiday program is almost up.
It's coming to a close.
Yeah, feels bittersweet. But, you know, I've been living, you know, I really feel like I finished the awkward phase between the ages of 12 to 27. You know, I've reconciled with my ex recently, and it's actually been really nice. Not in like we're dating kind of way.
Have y'all talked?
Yeah,
Like,
I saw her.
talk?
No, I saw
Oh,
her. Like
cool,
we literally like had lunch together, and it was so
How
nice.
is that hoe? No.
Wow.
I'm kidding.
She's fucking gay as fuck. Literally.
I mean, well, at least she
Literally.
embraced it this time. You know, she didn't be like, you know, goofy and, you know, like hold that off again.
She was the opposite of goofy, dude. I once saw a subreddit of like women who were married and with their man for like 25, 26 plus years, and then they're just like, I'm a lesbian now. I don't know how I didn't know. And then they just like casually ruin somebody's life. And the only thing I didn't see in that subreddit, it's like, yeah, good for you. You're embracing yourself. No sympathy for the men. Ever. It's
Of
just
course,
like, you know, live your life.
course.
You wasted so much of his life. She never did that to me, bro. She left me.
To be fair, at
when-
least y'all didn't get married.
Yeah. Bro, like, she broke
Like-
up with me when she did not want to break up with me. We were very, very much in love. And, you know, she did it anyway and was brave enough to be herself and literally said, like, it's better now than, like, 10 years down the line. And at the time, it was impossible for me to see like she said it was, and time heals those wounds. Like, when I was talking with her again, like, it just felt like it was time, because I saw something online that let me know, like, I should hit her up instead of writing something big, like I always meant to, like a big drama llama, like a big sad boy, like a big cuck. And, instead, no, I just hit her up, we talked immediately, and it was really nice. Like, it wasn't like one of those things where it's just like, I love you, it's time to, like, take it. Like, no, not like that.
Can
like,
I have
literally,
a threesome with your girlfriend? Please?
relax, relax.
I'll just watch. Oh, please.
I'll just watch, please. And no.
Well, not
It
even a
was
threesome.
literally
It's just like 2 plus a spectator.
a spectator. Oh my god. It's okay, Peter. Like, remember that Family Guy gag where like Peter's fucking Bonnie? And it's just like, I feel so bad, Bonnie. I don't think I could do this with Joe.
Oh,
She's
he's-
like, no. It's a cutaway gag. She's like, it's okay,
Oh, okay,
Peter.
okay.
It's okay. No, Bonnie, I feel bad. Like, I can't do this to Joe. And they're in a dark room, and all of a sudden you just hear, it's okay, Peter.
Oh, that's
You can't even see him, and he was just in the corner watching the whole time.
that's like funny and also just
Very sad.
A tad bit dark.
It's very sad. No, it's not like that. It was just really nice in the spirit of reconciliation. We caught up. The kind of things that used to make me anxious about it, like, weren't like that. You know, it was just like talking to an old friend, really. It's like, so much changed, but so much stayed the same. You know what I mean? Like, we still had that bond, which was real nice, but it wasn't like that kind of bond where, like, I was yearning for her. You know, what I
She
mean? Like,
hella lesbian now.
not even that. It's just because it's been long enough. You know, I had to be away from her, otherwise I would have never gotten over her, full stop. And she understood, that. Like, I'm just not that kind of guy. Some people can get over their ex in like 5 minutes. She was the most meaningful woman in my life, bar fucking none. And I do not regret the experience at all, but my God, I never thought I was going to get over her. And then COVID happened at the same time, and I couldn't leave my house while I was trying to get over her, so I
And
couldn't even rebound
thoughts. Yeah,
with my thoughts.
yeah,
and
you
I couldn't
literally
even
with your thoughts for about like the whole year. Plus,
couldn't even
I think.
rebound with nobody, lest I bring a deadly disease home to my mother. Like, it was fucked up. I was in a really fucked up place for a long time. Sort of led to some of my bitterness towards Smash. But honestly, so much changed, so much stayed the same, and it was just really one of those, like, nice... It felt like a little spiritual seeing her again. She does have, like, a lesbian cut now and stuff. She's a little more, like... I already knew that, though. So, you know, really, it was like reconnecting with an old friend. It felt great. And it's really nice having her back in my life in that way. And truly, I don't mean that in like a yearning way. If I did, I would not be talking about it on the show right now. Because that would
is
be
fair.
cringe. You know what I mean? So, but one thing I did realize, Dennis, and this is the perverse part about it. I will keep it a straight buck 50 with you. And I even said this to her, and I wanted to apologize to her in advance for saying it, because I realized how low-key perverse it would kind of sound. I
was
told her
hot.
straight... No, not even.
Okay.
Well, I mean, not saying she wasn't, I didn't mean it like that.
Imagine
but,
she
like,
watches
no,
this and you're just like, damn, man,
Dude,
she was
she knows-
ugly.
bro, she knows about the show now, so like she very well might listen to it. Fucking
Yeah, David's a
troglodyte.
bitch.
Fucking troglodyte. Yeah, you can call me a bitch all you want. I don't care.
Even if I'm like half awake, I'm like just throwing out like insults here. Like,
Why are
as
you
if I got
rubbing
2
your
Glocks.
nipples right now? What are you doing?
Why?
He's like showing me his midriff
What
right now.
the fuck are you talking about? Stop looking at me.
What do you mean not look?
Fucking
Oh my,
gay.
a little bit, yeah. After the wife swap. Hey Fred, like you always made that joke. You were obsessed with that back in the day. Like, hey Fred, you wanna fuck Betty? You wanna fuck Betty? And that picture is Fred after he asks. That's just him getting like smacked in the dick.
I was like wondering, like, wait, why is she like knocking? Oh,
hey, hey there, Betty. Fred says Barney says we can get it on, and then it's just fucking wax him. But anyway, the perverse thing that I realized, and I kind of thought about this a couple of days before I saw her again. And I was real nervous before seeing her again. Like, normally in my younger days, it's the kind of thing where I'd be so anxious about, have to plan what I say, everything. I live in the present so much now, and that really just helps me, like, helps ground myself. I'm not often anxious like that anymore. What's important is that me and her were there now, after everything. Like, cool, like Gwen Stefani, like that song. But I had a sort of perverse thought, and I realized something, right? My lesbian ex-girlfriend will be, without a doubt, the greatest wingman of all time.
Well, I mean, she could.
You already understand what I'm getting at, right?
If she's up for it, though.
No, I talked with her about it. She thought it was kind of a good idea, too. But Dennis, you see what I'm getting at, right?
Yeah.
Like, who better... Yeah, well, but who better? Who better, right? After that shit, yeah. Who better to fucking be a wingman with, and vice versa for her too? Like, I'm not trying to be a dick and and be perverted about it. Than someone you've literally fucked.
Well, no one else knows that.
Well, they could. Like, I'm saying, like, me and her could go to...
how would that work in your guys' strategy?
I'm saying we could go to bars together and just hang out or whatever. Spot our targets through the beer goggles and just do our thing. I mean, it's like, you see what I mean? It's just like, she could literally... I could literally vouch for her. You see what I'm getting at? Like, I could, like, to, like, women who are, like, trying to, like, get with women or whatnot... Not to be perverse about it, but, like, I'm talking, like, in intricate details. If it gets to that point of the night, like, we could describe what it's like, what they feel like, what they taste like. She could talk about me, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And you see what I'm getting at?
I almost envy you. I really do. Because...
That's what I'm saying. You see what I'm getting at? It's like a fucking shitty rom-com with, like, I was about to say Mia Khalifa. Oh my god. With Mila
She was in a
Kunis.
shitty rom-com. I think she was in a shitty rom-com.
Really?
Oh no.
No.
It was like a show about second generation, like, Arab Americans, I think.
Oh,
and
okay.
like, she showed up in a cameo. And, like, she has, like, a really, like, stupid scene where, like, it's, like, the guy who walks in, the main character, everyone knows who she is. Like, he knows who she is. And then, like, he says something about, like, what if, like, like, I want them to, like, like me or something. Like, like, and she, like, ties it then in to, like, she ties it in to, like, yeah. I know what that feels like. And then she, like, walks away, and I'm just kind of like... I was like, wow, that was the most ham-fisted, like, not subtle at all, like, fucking reference to your 2 hours of fame as a porn star.
Yeah.
It was so out of pocket. It was so weird. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, that's a strange one, honestly. Like, I mean, she had her time.
Yeah, and she like loves to say that, I did not like my time, but she uses her time as a point of advertising.
She really only made like $11,000 like doing porn. I mean, like, I remember
she didn't make that much at all. She didn't make that much at all. Like, it's just so funny though, because like when all was said and done, like she went on all these podcasts saying like, I did not like my time on there, but she she talks about it all the fucking time, and I'm just kind of like, gee, I don't know if you're there yet, girl. And even then, I think you're lying as well.
I mean, you ever watch a porno and like you could very clearly tell the woman is not into it, and so you can't get off to it.
Oh yeah,
it's
yeah.
just sad.
I've seen some of her scenes. Like she literally looks like she's not having a good time, which I get, but at the same time, like, look,
shit makes me secondhand depressed, Dennis, when I see that.
But then I'm saying though, years later, you talk about it like all the fucking time. It's like, have you not moved on from this? But she also knows that everyone knows her as Mia Khalifa, the porn star, and almost nothing else. She literally got her, like, I think she had like a sportscasting job or some shit like thing. She got right afterwards.
Why do they always go into sportscasting specifically? Like her and Lisa Ann too. Like Lisa Ann did the same thing. I read this article recently that Lisa Ann wrote. Talking about like the dangers that basketball players go through once they make it famous and stuff like that, and like all this sympathetic stuff. She was literally talking about like for lack of a better term, the thoughts that prey after them when they're basketball players. I can only imagine the level of unbelievable gold digger that comes to you en masse when people find out, yeah, I'm an NBA player. They probably prey on those guys like fucking vultures. And it was an interesting article, like listening about the kind of shit they go through, how like they'll get doxxed or whatever, or like how like the kind of women that go after them. We all remember that shit that happened with Mariah Mills, with that like with that fucking there's a porn star named Mariah Mills who had some experience with a basketball player, and she tweeted about him every minute on the minute for 5 days straight until she got banned on Twitter for it.
So was it more like just that
crazy X shit? That's all it was. I don't even remember. Yeah, and like the article was so interesting because they say a lot of these guys will get caught cheating on their wives, and like Lisa Ann, like, you know, did that, like, it was so stupid, right? Because like she really comes from like the porn world where like that shit is like super duper horny, and like you know, here's the thing: if those guys cheat on their wives, it's their fucking fault. Full stop. It is. But then she kept saying, like, oh, if you were in the position they were in, that they would do it. Oh, look at the amount of people on, you remember that scandal that happened with, what's the website? Ashley Madison, where, like, that website people went to have affairs, and they had that big hack where, like, all those people got outed for cheating on their spouses.
Database got hacked, and everyone's information got leaked.
She used that as a source, basically, to talk about how a lot of people are infidelis, and I'm like, look at the amount of percentage of people on this website, like this amount of men were on this website. I'm like, not every dude is on that website. This isn't an accurate metric for like people who cheat on their wives. Just because
your sample size is bullshit too, by the way. Like
just because you come from that world, that doesn't mean everybody cheats. It reminds me of the same thing as all those toxic ass men who'll say like, oh, this is every guy's worst nightmare, and they'll play some gif of a girl reading through his phone and stuff like that. It's like, bro, just because you cheat on your girl does not mean every guy cheats. Like, stop fucking projecting that insecurity on us just because you have a tiny part of you that knows what you're doing is immoral, that you're saying every guy is like that, to be like, this is every guy's nightmare. No, it's your fucking nightmare. I hate fucking men like that. Like, those type of, like, pseudo fucking, like, machismo, quote unquote, like, you know, like, red pill kind of guys who,
like five side bitches.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, well, you know.
Just because you cheat does not mean every guy cheats. Like, stop fucking projecting. I hate that bullshit so fucking much. Like, just because there's a tiny part of you that feels bad about it, you have to be like, oh, this is every guy's nightmare. You don't fucking speak for me. Ever. Like, you don't fucking speak for men. Just because you know how to fucking make a Riverside account like me and Dennis do and fucking turn on a podcast, it's not hard. That doesn't mean you fucking speak for us. Like, fuck
I'm also just saying, it might not even be like, oh, he's actually even talking to anyone. She's just so fucking afraid of her finding that group chat text. And
yeah.
I'm even thinking, like, you know, the guy, like, okay, he gets his girlfriend, like, gets his phone, and, like, you know, she's, like, going through it and everything. And, like, for the most part, it's just kind of like, you know, okay, like, I don't really care. And then he realizes, oh, fuck. I have me and my homies group chat. She can never find these. Or, like, you know, if she finds those, I'm basically, I'm gonna off myself right here and now. Like, I will bite into the cyanide pill underneath my tongue, and I will fucking kill myself. Like, it, like, you know, there's just, like, I like to think, though, too, because, like, you know, a person's phone is just so private. Like, not to say, like, okay, yeah, people aren't, like, yeah, I was gonna say infidel. What the fuck? Not to say, like, where people, like, you know, guys in general, like, let's say, like, I'm sure there are, like, quite a few that are, like, you know, unfaithful and such. And, you know, it's just part of the course. Like, not really, okay, I'm not gonna say part of the course, but I guess, like, more so just, like, it, you know, I could see, you know, obviously, like, there are those guys, right? But, like, I don't know, like, for me, like, I am so tied to my phone to a certain extent, but, like, the fact is that like I have a lot of texts with other people that like I would never want, obviously, like for anyone to see, just cause like okay, like that shit's private.
That's another thing that fucking girl did the first fucking night that I met her. Like she was trying to read my phone password whenever like I typed that shit in. Such toxicity, man. Like honest to God. Like we weren't even dating yet.
Her,
it's like
for her, it's not toxic. Because again, she this is all for her part of the course of her being like a relationship expert or some fucking bullshit. I don't know.
I know. Like fucking loser shit, honestly. Like the real big loser shit. Everything about her was fake too. Her fucking hair, like and everything. It was so sad. Honestly.
Did she have a weave?
Yeah, like she like one of those blonde shit, and then I saw her actual hair like on our second date, and like and, like you know when that happens, it's like wow, that is ugh. Not gonna lie.
And you were dating a baldy.
And I wasn't bald. There was like some things there, but you know,
patchy.
Look at this. Look at this article. It says porn star Lisa Ann romps with an NBA superstar so long he didn't realize he was traded. Apparently he missed the call because he was fucking balls deep in Lisa Ann at the time. I didn't even realize he got traded to another team because those talk about like you know porn stars transitioning to sports jobs and stuff. Lisa Ann literally does a lot of sports shit. She's been on ESPN, I think. She has, like, those sports podcasts. Like, she's literally, like... She's, like, a fucking advice columnist or whatever the job is for NBA players. She literally is a mentor to NBA players. She takes them under her wing and tells them, like, now that you're an NBA player, now you have this money... These are the kinds of women that are going to come after you. I grew up in that world. I've worked around these women that talk about specifically how they're going to ruin these guys. Like some real trash ass bitches I have worked around because like she's from that world. So you like you got to know she's seen it firsthand. So she dates and fucks a lot of NBA players because she's a huge basketball fan, like a giant basketball fan, right? But it also led to her like
basketball fan.
Oh yeah. Then also led to her writing that
the biggest
article.
Fan.
Oh yeah. And then it also led to her eventually writing that article, right? Like, list, there's so many different art. Look at this. Lisa Ann reveals which athletes are the best in the bedroom. Why Lisa Ann prefers having sex with NBA players. Ex-porn star Lisa Ann says NBA stars are her favorites, but won't touch UFC sluggers with a 10-foot pole. What the fuck?
You know why, though? You know why? Here's the thing. I think I know why. UFC guys...
She goes in just talking about the intricacies of, like, how, like her fucking sex sessions with these, like, athletes and shit.
Does she also, like, lifeguard for a bathtub as well during their sessions?
I mean, I imagine, because, like, I don't know, like, how many of those NBA players, like, you know, finished, like, the one-and-done year of college shit to get through that. I don't know, like, how... No disrespect, I don't know how intelligent some of them are, not to, like, stereotype, like, athletes and shit like that. Because every now and again you will have that NBA player or that football player that would probably drown in an inch of water had they not had a busty lifeguard sitting on the edge of the tub. And I just, you know, maybe they need Lisa Ann for that. And like, you know, she's got life preservers, like they'll float and shit, you know what I mean? So, but yeah, like she wrote a giant article that's just literally like talking like the 5 steps NBA players need to take of like what to avoid. Like never take them to your home, always take them to a hotel room and shit. You know, never let them get access to your phone.
So it's basically a cheating guide?
Not even
or
a cheating...
Or like, is it just like, oh, these are the type of women that you're going to meet?
Both.
And then if you are an NBA player, follow these steps to not ruin your life, basically.
It was both. Because it was what you just said, and also basically a cheating guide, because she's basically used Ashley... That's what I was getting at before. She basically used the Ashley Madison statistic as saying, like, oh, wouldn't you do this if you were in their situation? Blah, 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 blah. I hate when people project that shit. So, because she was too. She was projecting that shit too. Just saying, like, yeah, like, wouldn't you do that? Like, bitch, I'm not you. Like, don't fucking speak for me. Like, honestly, I hate that fucking bullshit, man. So basically she's saying, like, oh, these NBA players, when you have all these women being thrown at you and stuff like that, well, wouldn't you do it too? It's like, it's basically trying to justify saying it's the woman's fault, which it is. Like, you know, they get into these guys' phones. They specifically go after the married ones, Dennis, to blackmail them so they can get their money and then get on those shitty reality shows like NBA Wives, like all that shitty shit, like on E! Or whatever. They go after the married ones specifically, which is why she was talking to them. Like, they see that ring, and that's when they go in. And then they see those NBA rings, that's when they go in even harder. So, she was basically trying to justify it saying it's the woman's fault, but like at the end of the day, you still cheated on your girl, dude. Not saying you deserve all that. You don't deserve to get, like,
No, it's a
blackmailed and, like,
50-50 though.
thrown
It's
under
a
the bus.
50-50.
But at the same time, you cheated on your wife, dude. It's your fucking fault. Like, full stop. It's your fault. And that's the thing that was, like, I felt like it was kind of tone deaf about that article. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't get it.
It kind of goes back to this one thing I remember hearing from Bill, where like,
here it is. Here's the article. 5 ways NBA players can avoid.
Oh, send it to me.
hustled.
Send it to me.
Please continue. Yeah.
Like, because
It's funny,
like,
I was literally just jacking off to Lisa Ann one day, and I saw this article by accident, which is probably how most people saw it by accident. And we're keeping it a stack. Yeah.
and
My guess
remember,
is a minimum of. Yeah, please go ahead.
Oh yeah, like Bill was like kind of saying how like for like at least great like athletes, like to a certain even saying like great men like Tiger Woods and even Arnold Schwarzenegger, like even just like all of the stuff that they've accomplished and everything, and like just talking about how like nobody ever like is there to teach you of what to do when that whole bus of gold digging whores just come out of the fucking bus and just like come running towards you. And like, to a certain extent I do agree, because it's like, you are an adult, like you know what the fuck you're doing, like you don't have like an excuse in that regard. But at the same time, I can't help but at least just commiserate a bit, where most of us in our lifetimes will never reach that level of fame for anything. I'm gonna be real.
Yeah.
Maybe me and David for our podcast. I don't know. Maybe like, I don't know, somewhere down the line. But
probably
like,
when people get some class and start listening to some real shit.
But again, no one really does. Nothing prepares you for that whole like just fucking travel bus of gold digging whores is all coming out of it and just running towards you. Nothing prepares you for it.
Which is why I respect Lisa Ann a little bit for writing that article, because she witnessed that shit firsthand.
Of course, yeah.
Like I cannot imagine the trashy ass women that she's probably worked with. The ones who do also prey after those kind of guys, saying like, "Oh,
ruin their lives.
This is married guy I'm trying to get with. Like, I'm just gonna flash him my titties a little bit, and like, I'll get him, and then I'll take those photos and shit. Like,
Yeah.
they do that. They're like the kind of women that she's been around, and she's done that. And Lisa Ann is very, very passionate about sports and basketball and shit. So I guess she just took it upon herself to just take these guys under her wing, both literally and metaphorically.
We've also seen athletes be destroyed by this shit. Yeah. Like, it's like, so that's why, like, if anything, guardian angels can come in many different forms. I guess they come in the form of like a gigantic pair of tits, and it's also attached to Lisa Ann. But like, well, I guess it's a good thing too, because again, like when I think I remember like when the NBA was still training, when the teams were still training, like during even lockdown, they were basically like in the dome, and like they had like procedures and such of like no one basically can leave, no one can come in, like you all are just in here training. And even during that time, like NBA stars were still getting bitches, like things snuck in, and like they were fucking, like,
yeah.
It just like, I think it to a certain extent, like for a lot of athletes, and just like the way like their life is, especially depending on how famous you are. Like even Kobe Bryant, like before he passed, he had like a mistress, and she was like a fucking 19-year-old or whatever. So like, it's like,
and he's on the box art for the new NBA 2K game.
No one's safe.
It's literally called the Black Mamba edition. So
no, it's not.
Yep, yes it is. Dennis,
right,
I literally work in video games. Well, not in video games. I literally work in merchandising video games.
Oh wow.
He's on the box art. It's called the Black Mamba edition because that was his nickname. They called him Black Mamba.
But it's
he
so
also
funny.
had his rape scandal. He also like had that woman that said like she raped him and shit, and no one.
But that's also another example. But that's also another example of like like, because I believe those ended up it just turned out to be basically false. And here's the thing, like a lot of times I always like, part of me knows like 75% of the time like those accusations tend to be bullshit, especially if they're involved with a famous person. I usually think that only because like, not that, okay, like not that I'm saying that I'm callous and think like, oh yeah, like they couldn't have been raped. Like of course, like I could see that obviously, but it's like for a lot of times, like I know what you're trying to get out of this. and it's money. Like, the fact that you were, like, let's say, going after a person like Kobe Bryant before he died, like, you know, with that accusation in mind, it's like automatically I already know, like, you know, this isn't even like, this has nothing to do with, like, you know, I personally feel like, okay, if he did rape you, right? If that did happen, then at the very least, it's like, you know, why do they end up dropping the charges like almost immediately afterwards anyways and just end up settling regardless? Like,
it's like the Michael Jackson shit, you know, like everybody like says he didn't do it, like, but then like they settled for that much fucking money, like, come on.
But that's what I mean, on. Like, you know, and especially in the case of Kobe Bryant, like, you know, he is like, you know, as a basketball player, like, and I don't know much about him obviously, but like I knew, like, everyone knew who he was, and like everyone just knew, like, after Michael Jordan, like, this guy is the GOAT. Like, LeBron wanted to be where this guy was at, and
LeBron definitely was ahead of Kobe.
Well, Kobe died.
Well, yeah, but even before Kobe died, I mean, like, I feel like LeBron's like, we're not going to have
it wasn't. It wasn't the case. Like, it wasn't the case.
What are you talking about, man?
No, it wasn't the case.
You see Kobe Bryant in fucking Space Jam 2?
Kobe Bryant died!
All right, well,
he would have been in fucking Space Jam.
Well, why didn't they make Space Jam 2 before he died then with Kobe instead, if like Kobe's legacy was bigger?
Because Warner Brothers is fucking stupid, David.
That's true. Yes, very true nowadays.
Don't at me right now.
I don't want, dude. I'm not even like a sports guy. Why am I talking about?
No.
Why am I talking about LeBron's legacy? It's like the most difficult conversation.
My point is that these dumb bitches like who truly like look, I'm talking about the ones who strictly did not have anything happen to them, but they think that, oh, if I cry rape, I could get some money out of them, and they end up doing so anyways. They end up getting settled, and like, you know, some people like Kobe Bryant, he can basically withstand that slander because he's Kobe Bryant. Like, bitch, my face is on a video game. I could do whatever the fuck, like, you know, basically it is like that level of like, you know, I can do whatever the fuck I want.
Once you reach a certain point, even the Kyrie Irving shit where like he kept like he was like talking about like that video or whatever on Amazon, that anti-Semitic shit or whatever, and like he's like, oh, Kanye was right, blah blah blah, and, like nobody would leave him alone. Yeah, who was in Paris, blah blah blah, all that shit. So, yeah, I mean, even from the Lisa Ann shit here, it just says, like, oh, you're judging. I feel it. You're thinking this shouldn't be cheating. Yes, this is true. But let's be real. After the details of last year's Ashley Madison hack were released, it's about time to push that mindset aside. That hack wasn't athletes, but up to 37 million men were found to be using the adultery-focused site. It's about 1 in every 4 American men not only being open to cheating on their spouses, but taking real steps to do so. So right or wrong, ignore your personal opinions on infidelity and look at these players as ordinary people in extraordinary situations. I don't know what to say to that. Really.
Can you repeat that last part again?
Right or wrong, ignore your personal opinions on infidelity and look at these players as ordinary people in extraordinary situations.
Well, it is an extraordinary situation. I'll agree with that part at the very least. Like, you know, you're an NBA player. Like, you're I want to say, like, not even world class, because, like, no, the fucking NBA don't even play with anybody else. Like, at the very least, they make fun of everybody else. But, like, you know, as far as, like, just, like, the, I guess, the celebrity status of them, it's just kind of like, you know, oh, like, he's an NBA player. I even like to think that NBA players probably get more poo-tang than football players.
Like, that's what Lisa Ann's saying in this article, right? She's like talking about like how she used to work at like strip clubs and stuff, and that she's even witnessed clubs like shake down like the wealthy patrons that were drunk as hell, like to try to set up outside jobs. She straight up said the risk level was so intense at a club once that the owner handed her a gun. Like to take outside in case like she was having a problem. So she's saying if this happens to normal ass people, you like imagine like a 6'8" NBA player walks in and people know who he is or whatever. I cannot imagine, like, the people preying on that. I can't remember. There was this BuzzFeed. I hate to quote BuzzFeed on anything because it's fucking BuzzFeed and they're cringe. There was this guy, right?
Yes.
There's this guy, this journalist who worked for BuzzFeed. Huge dude. Like, he was, like a very, like, not heavy set. He was, like, that sort of fat, muscular guy, sort of.
Okay.
Like, taller than me. Like, 6'7" something. Who knows?
Okay.
He pretended BuzzFeed, they ran an experiment. He went undercover at like a bar and pretended to be an NBA player. They just went around telling everybody that this guy got accepted into the NBA, right? Mm-hmm. And oh my god. It was disgusting, Dennis. They started giving him free drinks and shit. Everybody was gassing him up. Everybody was hiding him up. He started making out with like multiple women at the club, like out of nowhere, right? Like this, like these women were all of a sudden just up on him. It was disgusting to watch. It really was disgusting to watch, that bottom deplorable scum of humanity all leeching off of this dude the whole time. He's not a basketball player. He's a fucking journalist for BuzzFeed. Of all people,
but he just looked like a basketball player.
He looked like a basketball player.
So he just said, "I'm from the NBA. Like I play in the NBA." Wow!
They forced all that. They literally did it to run a social experiment.
I could never get away with that. First of all, I basically no one cared, and I don't think anyone could be up all on like Jeremy Lin looking motherfuckers like that. I do not think so. I don't think so because it's like, because like. Sounds so bad, but like whenever I think of the NBA, I usually just think of like really tall black dudes like who play basketball.
This dude actually wasn't black. He was actually a white guy.
Wait, what?
This BuzzFeed journalist, he was a white guy.
Well, okay then. Well, you know how what I mean though. Like it's like usually black dudes,
stereotype connotated
white dudes, and very rarely Asians. It's like there's only those three.
And the even rarer Latin.
But those guys can't reach 6'2". This is not in their genes. David, you're white as fuck. I'm talking like classically Latin.
Yeah, but my dad is the tall one, and he's 100% Cuban.
But okay, you know what? Fine. You're right. You're right.
Wrong.
I'll toss that. Your
cousins are huge. They were in the fucking Corps, weren't they?
Well, yeah, but like, that doesn't mean anything.
It means some Asians can be tall too.
I actually heard though, from genetics wise, apparently we got all our height from my grandma, and she's like a little hunched over now, like because like she's just old. Right. But they said that when my grandma like was like able to have like her back straight and everything, and like gravity just wasn't like pushing down on her for like the last like fucking 20 years. Like she was actually like fairly tall for like a woman, they said. And like they just like we all just kind of agree. Like when I heard that, like I just was like, oh, so I guess that's where we all like got the height from. Because even like our the girls in our family too, like they're like not fucking 4'11" like midgets. Like they're literally like 5'7" to 5'8". And I'm just like, Jesus Christ, Grandma.
Wow. The point is, Lisa Ann just dropped these 5 things. She says, no new friends.
Yeah.
Flush your condoms.
Just all like survival stuff at this point.
There've literally been women who take the fucking jizz out the condom.
Yeah.
Shove as much in it back in themselves, like as possible. Like there are some crazy people out there. He raped me. I can only imagine, like, the kind of shit that they go through. Use the hotel safe. The hotel is better than your house. And also avoid peer pressure. I can only imagine, like, Lisa Ann inviting all these guys to fuck, which she does. She fucks, like...
Oh, yeah.
Like all of them, pretty much, I think.
She
writes multiple articles about, like, how much dick she takes from NBA players. And, like, is so public about it. Like, which is whatever.
She's a porn star. That's her identity. Like,
no, she was
I'm not surprised by that
at the time, and then she went back.
It don't matter to me. She's still a porn star at heart. Like, I don't care.
I know.
Like,
yeah. So it's like, imagine like getting to fuck Lisa Ann, who is basically one of those women. Not one of those women, like, trying to get up on you and like take your shit. But like, you get up on Lisa Ann, like you made her through sports because she does like NBA broadcasting and like journalism and stuff. And then after you fuck, she just like gives you hour-long lectures.
She gives like a PowerPoint about all the stuff you should not do while you are a...
This is literally what she did with these NBA players. She'd fuck them, and then give them these lectures being like, okay, most women are not gonna fuck you like I did. They're gonna fuck you, steal your shit, that watch on your wrist, they're gonna steal that you have over there, they're gonna take that condom that you just like nutted in me with, and I'm gonna pour that shit back inside. All this fucked up shit. I can only imagine the ratchetness, and we saw it with the Mariah Mills thing too. So on one end, Lisa Ann is right. I just don't like the whole shtick of like her saying like, oh well, they don't deserve this for cheating and shit. And I'm not saying they deserve to have their like, you know, be blackmailed and shit for cheating like that and whatnot, but at the end of the day, you did do a horrible infidelist thing. I mean, not justifying what the women did either. It's a shitty situation with shitty people all around.
All the terrible people, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, like that's all I have to say about that, honestly. I didn't expect to go off on that for as long as I did. It just, what you said reminded me of that. So, yeah, shout out to Lisa Ann out there fighting the good fight for the NBA players, I guess.
I suppose,
I don't know.
I mean, at the very least, I think guys that go into like stardom like that, I think even like to a certain extent, like, you know, I would hope maybe there is someone in Hollywood, probably real hush hush, but like probably someone who like is a bit of a mentor to a lot of up and coming people and like kind of warn them like, look, this is all the shit. Like, because here's the thing, like in those sort of environments, it's more like, you know, you almost like, let's say, have to go to those crazy parties. You have to go there because like, okay, you gotta like go and network with people and such. And like, you know, I think to a certain extent, like there is like probably two sides of Hollywood where it's like, the other half is like the crazy party types who do a fuck ton of drugs and probably like, you know, go to Epstein's Island and shit. And the other half is just kind of like, I like acting. Like, you know, I just like acting. Like, you know, I just like to be in movies and stuff. And like, I'm really good at it. Like fucking Daniel Day-Lewis. Daniel Day-Lewis don't need to go to no kid party like at Epstein's Island. Like the guy fucks like by himself. Like he probably like, you know, goes to a mirror and strokes himself off and say, I'm Daniel Day-Lewis.
I'm such a good actor.
A part of the Film Actors Guild.
At any moment, it could crumble for him and his family. No hookup is worth all of that. That is the lesson I teach these young men. That's what she said in the article. I respect that. I really do. She's like, no hookup is worth that. She straight up said, no pussy is worth that.
Yes, that is true. But at the same time, like, it's almost like, you know, it's a shame too, because like another side of it is like, preferably if I was like a basketball player, right? I wouldn't want to bring a girlfriend into this. You know what I mean? Yeah. I wouldn't want, like, you know, this sort of thing is just like, I wouldn't want to bring anyone into that, like part of me. But it's just like, you know, for a lot of guys, it's just like, they either already have a girlfriend or they already have a wife by the time they get into the NBA. And it's just kind of like, you know, from that point on, like now you have shit to lose at that point.
I'm so back and forth with this article, Dennis. Because like I'm reading this. I'm sorry. I hate to cut you off, but like, yeah, she'll say things like no pussy is worth that. She'll say things like, I'm sorry, dude. I don't mean to.
Go ahead. Say your point.
I feel like a dick. Like I don't want to be like one of those like
insecure. Say what you want to say. Say it.
Like, just saying, you know those insecure, like, you know, Red Pill podcasts where they have a guest on and the guest is only on there to agree with the host and they cut them off constantly.
Oh, yeah,
like,
that's exactly.
Hey, shut up. They are trying to silence me. They're trying to... You see what I did? Like, I just interrupted you to just scream that. Like, you know what I'm talking about, those fucking shows. And I don't want to be that. I'm sorry. But I'm just reading the article, too, as you're talking. And Lisa Ann will straight up say, no pussy is worth that. Don't do this. And then she'll say this. Later on down, let me read this to you. When the news shares stories of NBA players being conned, hurt, harassed, or the victims of police brutality, every time I'm saddened by the lack of public empathy and premature judgment these players face. It's a little hard for us when you make that much money, sorry. When I hear people say things like, what was he doing out so late, or why would he bring those girls home from the club? It's obvious to me that not only have these people have never been that age with that money and that level of fame, but that they can't even imagine that world. She then proceeds to say, on the real, if you could have two girls at the same damn time, many or most of you would do it in a second. So stop with the one-sided commentary and unfounded judgment. What? She said, and then she proceeds to say,
I kind of agree.
But then she says, I've heard girls say they make sure he's married or in a relationship before going back to his hotel with him. Like, you gotta have some common sense and judgment, and I guess they don't fucking teach that shit at basketball school. I guess they don't teach that. Because, like, dude, I don't know, if you have a girlfriend, man, maybe, like, break it off before you...
But that's what I think. That's what I'm saying, though.
This
like,
shit's making my blood pressure rise.
They should. Most guys that go into, I think, even like anything related, like anything where you have now stakes, let's say in IE, we're talking like NBA players, like, like you got like stakes now, like, this is your livelihood until like, until like you essentially retire and like you're, at least successful. You're like on commercials or some shit.
Yeah.
But like in this regard, it's just like, I kind of agree where she's coming from in that, like, again, we really don't. I like really straight up, objectively, we really don't know anything about that world. Like, we don't know like how bad the temptation is. We have probably a good idea, I'm sure, but it's just like, when it comes to fame like that, like most human beings themselves are just not ready for it at all. They're just not. And it's the reason why a lot of them like end up making stupid mistakes. We see it time and again. All these great men that made all these dumbass decisions, and then they all just pissed it all away because like oh yeah, like I wanted to fuck my maid, like who was in my house, like, and even though she's like probably the most grotesque looking woman I've ever seen in my life, like, I could do it because like,
I'm
in their
Arnold.
brain, like yeah, like Arnold.
That's
Yeah,
what
exactly.
That's exactly what I mean. Arnold.
That's what I mean.
These players
like,
are also so young.
I saw that maid. She looks fucking disgusting, man.
Dude, my mom said that. My mom was like, she's so much less attractive than like his wife too. I don't get it. Maybe they were the ones
got
who,
it. But that's what I mean. But that's what I mean, though. We don't get it. We don't. That's why, to a certain extent, like, I do agree with her in that we don't know that world, like, at all. We talk about it all the time. But, of course, again, I still also stand by the same way you do, where it's like, yeah, you're still a shitty fucking person. Like, I think you reserving judgment for that type of shit is really fucking dumb. Because it's just like, so what? We're just basically going to say, like, oh, that's okay. Oh, he cheated, it's fine. Or she cheated, it's fine. Like, whatever. We don't know their world, so therefore, like, they have an out. No, that's not an excuse either. I think you can be both on it. Because on one hand, again, like, I agree. Like, we don't know what that world is like. We can infer and debate about it all we want, but we really don't know. We don't know what the fuck Timothée Chalamet goes through every goddamn day when he has a cameras on his face. We don't know what the fuck LeBron James or any other NBA player goes through when they're in like a hotel room with a gold digging whore, and like, they just like, and like, they just ready to do the dirty, but like, he's like on edge because it's like, oh, is this bitch gonna ruin my life? Like, no, we don't fucking know. We have no idea. Normal people don't deal with that shit on a day-to-day basis. This is an everyday fucking thing for them. So on that regard, I do agree. But at the same time, you gotta put everything on that like fucking laundry list eventually when you go up to the pearly gates because, hey, you still cheated. So therefore, like, you're still a human being and you still have like fucking sentience. You're not fucking stupid. That's why I'm saying, like, you can like criticize it and also agree, I feel, because the nuance of it is, again, we don't know what the fuck that world is like at all. Me and David, we have no idea. We have no idea how it actually is. It probably is even worse than how we're talking about. Maybe. Like, we've seen celebrities time and time again literally fucking piss their lives away because they made a dumbass decision of fucking this whore or fucking a whore, whoever. And like, we've just seen them crumble because of it. In that regard, okay, yeah, we know like the consequences of it. And also at the same time, I'd even like to think they are bombarded by this every fucking day. That fucking tour bus of gold digging whores is always pulling up. It's always there waiting for them. It's like, how Satan, like, like there's even like, some afterlives that I've read about, like where it's like, the afterlife just loves to fuck with you. It loves to just throw you shit that'll fuck with you, even though you're already dead. And it's like at that point, like, that's like your punishment even. And I think even to a certain extent, it's like, it just comes with the territory as well, being a celebrity. You just get tempted all the time. And it's the reason why we even hear like of some crazy Hollywood fucks who literally are like some of the craziest motherfuckers out there. Like, they just either party hard, they fuck like crazy, or like, they just do crazy shit. And in regard of like even NBA stars, like, you are a superstar, let's say. Like, you're told this and you're got your name and your face on a jumbotron in a fucking stadium. Like, that's a high that like most people don't even know what the fuck it feels like. Like, I guess when you first arrive, I suppose. But like what I'm also saying is that like, again, just to reiterate, we don't know nothing about their world. We can criticize them all we want, and to a certain extent, I still will. But at the very least, though, like, you know, for shit like that, it's just like, you're still a human being, and there are consequences. It's just like, I'm not saying that like, okay, we don't understand to a certain extent, but it's like even regarding that understanding, you still cheat. Like, you know, it doesn't wash it out because, oh, you're a celebrity. I agree with David that, yeah, like, you still should be like fucking shitted on for stuff like this. Of course you should. But again, at the very least, like, you know, it kind of like gets a little watered down, I suppose, that criticism, just because it's like, again, I don't know their world. I have no idea how like their like NBA players function and navigate that world. I don't know. No one knows. Like, unless you are an NBA player. And like, you know, if an NBA player ever decides to go on this shitty ass fucking podcast and like just kind of tell us about it, I would love to hear it. Because again, it's just like, I'd imagine the temptation's fucking insane. And it's even worse too, because like, I'd even feel like you even said, David, guys who are parents, who are like, you know, a dad, like they have a family, they are targeted the most. They themselves are more targeted. That's really sad, in my opinion. That's very unfortunate.
It's kind of almost as if like Maury, dude.
Who?
This is the kind of Maury, you know that show where
like Maury, you are yeah.
not the father. Like, those are the women that are going after these NBA players. It's fucking skanks like that, for lack of a better term. And truthfully, Dennis, I'm not even gonna echo anything on what you just said, because like I couldn't have said that any better myself. Honestly, like, you hit like really pretty much both sides of that argument, both sides of that issue, and like the nail on the head. Pretty much, where it's like, yeah, you know, nobody deserves this, you know, we don't know what that world is like, blah, 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 but at the same time, you still did something bad, and I guess that's where, like, the article sort of makes me angry, because from Lisa Ann's perspective, I think it's just a tad
you can't judge at all. That's bullshit.
It's a tad tone deaf with like, saying, like, don't judge them at all. Like, she literally even says, like, in the article, it's just like, oh, I know what you're judging, I feel it. You're thinking they shouldn't be cheating? Yes, that's true. At least she acknowledges that, but like then she's talking about like how so many people cheat, so it's justified or whatever. It's like, or that like they're no different. And it's like, yeah, you know, like some people can't understand, like they make so much money, so like why would you throw it all away like that? But that's because they're the ones who have the most opportunities, and these players are fucking young. And a lot of them are stupid because they're young. You know what I mean?
Stupid.
It's like
young
and stupid. Like, people forget, like, people who are young and stupid don't usually have that money. Enter professional sports. There you go. Then where they give them all that money. It's kind of like one of the low-key, like, fundamental issues with it, to be honest. But hey, you know, I mean, I can understand if you have the opportunity to have like two women at the same time. I'm like, I mean, I have done that, but it's not like, it was also, I didn't cheat on anybody to do it. Like, it was literally with my girl.
But that's what I mean. Like,
you know,
could be single and be there, but if you're single, no one even targets you anyways. You get no bitches even if you are single.
Really is the fucked up thing about that, how like some people literally some women just become more attracted to you when they find out you're with somebody, because they're like, now I know he's worth something because another woman gave him the time of day. That is just... And also,
I'm gonna ruin this guy's life, too. I'm gonna ruin the fuck out of his life. Like,
that's what almost happened to Gabriel Iglesias. You know, Gabriel Iglesias cheated on his wife. Like, he cheated on his wife and even admitted to it in one, like, his special at, like, Dodger Stadium. Like, he's not with his, well, not his wife, but, Fluffy.
Oh!
Yeah, he cheated on his girl.
Oh, wow.
Literally ruined, like, him and his family and everything. Like, couldn't go home and stuff. Like, he just fucked some gold-digging whore and, like, wasn't allowed to go home.
George Lopez did the same thing, too.
Did he?
Yeah, I did.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. That was a long time ago.
What is with these Mexican comedians cheating on their wives? What the hell? Yo, they literally said, ¿Por qué no los dos? Like the fucking commercial. Wife or mistress?
All I'm saying, guys,
no los dos?
it's a complicated issue, but also it isn't at the same time, if that makes sense. It's like cheating's still a shitty thing to do no matter who the fuck you are. It's just the way it is. Like, obviously, I think, like, in a celebrity sort of prone world, like the NBA and even Hollywood, it's just kind of like the thing you have to walk. Like, you know, it's the tightrope you're going to have to walk on, like, all the time. And not that I'm saying, like, let's say Hollywood, there aren't, like, let's say some Hollywood stars that, like, you know, aren't faithful. There are some. They're very few. There are some. And, like, I even like to think there probably are some NBA stars that are, like, the most wholesome fucking people out there. Like, I'm pretty sure there are.
Oh, yeah,
but,
you
like,
can, absolutely.
Yeah, there's always, like, that lowest common, like, least common denominator. But, like,
we don't want to
it's just-
stereotype, like, all these athletes.
Oh,
and
yeah,
saying,
exactly.
Like, they're
'Cause
all a bunch of,
it's
like,
just easier.
horny-ass fuckboys,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Blah, blah, blah. Like, every Hollywood athlete is like, I think there's things in Hollywood that make these people corrupt, but you,
no, yeah.
make them go to down that road. But to stereotype them all like that, look at Patrick Mahomes' brother. He literally tried to rape a woman in a bar. Yeah, he literally tried to rape a woman in a bar. That dude's not even an athlete. He's just trying to cast off his brother's fame. The fucking unbelievable loser.
Yeah.
Literally trying to cast off that. Like, you know who my brother is? And, like, he literally grabbed a woman and, like, shoved his tongue down her throat in a bar. It was fucking disgusting. It was all on film. It was all on camera, too.
All you
Fucking
gotta
disgusting.
do, man, is just do what Eli did and win a Super Bowl. At the very least, then everyone will stop fucking comparing you to your goddamn brother.
Oh, comparing to the brother. I was like,
Yeah.
Eli? I was like,
No,
Eli
no,
had a
no.
cheating scandal? I'm like, I don't remember that.
No. It's just like, you know, if you want to really get out of your brother's shadow, just fucking win a Super Bowl. Just fucking win one, and then you will never be compared to your brother again.
Rest
and here's
in
the
peace.
thing. They're both in those shitty commercials that we see nowadays. Both Eli and Peyton.
They have a show where the two of them commentate the football games live with a guest.
That's
So
fine. That's
They're
cool.
basically,
That's just
yeah,
them.
which is perfect for them. It's basically
They're
sports
just being John
broadcasting now.
Madden, except before they become silver-haired John Madden.
Rest in peace to the third Manning brother that never made it pro, because he's the one that, like, that's the shit that, like, that's...
There's another Manning brother? I didn't even know that.
Yes, and he played football. And I forget the reason why he never went pro. I think he had a really bad injury, and, like, he was the only one who could never, like, go pro,
Oh,
which
poor
sucks.
guy.
And he never became as
Cooper.
famous... Yeah, Cooper, and he never became as famous because of it.
But
Which sucks, is
what
he has
did
a football player's name, too. Cooper?
Cooper.
That
Yeah.
is such a football player's name, you know?
Manning. Cooper
Yeah.
Archibald. That's his fucking full name. Holy shit.
Yeah, so fucking rest in
dude.
peace, Cooper. Unlike him, I doubt he has a lesbian ex-girlfriend that he can pick up women with. So neither of us made it pro in the NFL.
that's
Neither of us
another
made it
thing.
pro in the NFL, but he doesn't have the lesbian ex. So who's
That's
really
another
winning,
thing.
Cooper? Who's really fucking winning?
That's another thing these celebrities can't have. They can't have lesbian wingmen. Or wing women. I don't know. Like, they can't have them.
They don't need
Because
them.
well, for one, yeah, fair. They don't need
I'm
them.
not
But,
an NBA player. I don't
but
need a
what if they're
wingman to pick
but
up
what
women.
but what if they're an unknown NBA player? It's like, you know, when you, like, see a band, right? Like, everyone knows the lead singer. No one knows who the fuck the drummer is. Like, even though the drummer is a fucking badass.
Look, I may be 6'5", with a voice lower than Poseidon's nuts, but I still need a wing person to pick up a woman like that. Okay,
A wing he she.
a wing he she. Sure, I'm not an NBA player where all you have to do is, like, I'm an NBA player, and then all of a sudden, like, you can't wear your watch out there or they're gonna steal it, and then they're gonna, like, as soon as they're alone, you're taking a piss after you nut, they're gonna, like, take the condom, put it back in them, take photos of all the credit cards and IDs and shit to try to make some sort of scandal so they can
Fucking
get on
crazy,
basketball
man.
wives. I cannot imagine that shit that gets thrown at them. That world sounds terrifying, to be completely
That's what I
honest.
mean. Like, we, you know, just going back to it, like, you know, we don't know nothing about it. It probably is terrifying. You're in the woods. You're in the fucking woods. And you have two choices. Either fuck your way out of it, or you just fuck your way in or in around it. Or two, like, drink yourself to a certain extent where, like, the woods just aren't scary no more. That's typically how they think I feel. It's a fucking jungle there. It's crazy. It's like,
I would just be like-
we have no idea of that world. We have no idea how bad it is.
Keep that shit away from me. Let me drool my ball, shoot it, make my money, and I'll do as much good as I can afterwards. That's what I'd try to do if I were some of those people. Like, you
But
don't
then
have,
you
you don't have to
but
go
the
to those
teams-
fucking nightclubs. You don't
But
have
the team's
to fucking,
always gonna go to parties. That's the thing. Like, you gotta go with the homies. Like,
You
your
don't
team
have
at-
to. Literally,
No,
hey,
no, no.
Rule number
But
5.
your
Rule
team-
number 5. No, we're forgetting Lisa Ann's rules. Rule number 5, avoid peer pressure. You didn't pay attention to her article, man. You were looking at her titties the whole time.
Titties NBAs. What, the ones that were crudely drawn? The fuck? All I'm saying is that like you
or
know
the ones that she ruined because she did fucking do that.
To a certain extent, though, as far as the peer pressure goes, it's just like, you know, you almost can't. I'm not like giving excuses here, but it's almost impossible to escape it because if you're a new team member, you can't say anything. You just joined this team. You gotta hang out with them. It's just expected. And that's why it fucking sucks because it's like if I was LeBron, right? I could say, fuck you guys, I'm going back to my hotel room, I'm going to sleep. Fuck all y'all. Or hell, I'll even go to the gym and just chill out there. Fuck all y'all. I don't need to hang out with these fucking fugly ass bitches. Like, you know, they could make that excuse. But if you're a newbie who just joined the NBA, you can't say shit. You can't say shit. You can't say anything. Brother, you're going to be drinking with us and you're going to get fucked up. And you're going to fuck up your life just like with one of these gold digging whore bitches. Like,
even in that world, it's difficult for me to give somebody the pass for that shit. Which I'm not saying we should do. Dennis presented both sides, but Lisa, I don't know, man. Like, she seemed to have
an
like
article.
I'll
say that much.
Yeah, it was to garner a
Very
little too much
informative.
of that sympathy. It just felt a tiny bit tone deaf, but I'm tone deaf to the world that shit comes from. She's not.
She's also a
so.
porn star. She sucked and fucked her way to where she is. It's just the way, like, that's her life.
No, I'm not.
That's her
discrediting,
worldview.
I'm not discrediting her for that. It's like she knows that world and I don't. So like, but at
No,
the same
I'm just
time,
saying though, like that.
I'm
Like
just
that's why.
saying.
That's why also I'm saying like that's where I get where she's coming from because it's just like not that I fucked my way to like where I'm at. I didn't suck and fuck my way to like unemployment. I'm just saying though for her case, it's like where she's at right now. Like that's just she knows like that's the fucking world they live in. Those are the waters they got to navigate through.
Yeah.
And like that's just the way things are over there. It sucks. It fucking does. But again, like the truth is just that's just the way things are over there.
I
And
guess
like.
so.
She probably was one of those gold digging whores that sucked and fucked like a ton of basketball players. Like she was. I mean, she was. Yeah, she admitted it. She was. So like, you know, like again, like you know, from her perspective,
She's
like,
she's a gold burying whore, not a gold digging whore.
she was a gold digging whore though. She was.
No, she's
She
a gold.
was.
She's a gold burying whore now though because she does fuck all these NBA players.
That's what I'm saying now.
But she does it
Before
to
she
help
was.
them. She's burying the gold, not digging that shit up because she has. First of all, she has her own gold now. She was like the top porn star like in the world for a while. You know what I mean? She's got her own, but you know what I'm
She
saying.
doesn't get royalties from that, man. She gets money now from like all the stuff she does outside of porn.
Which I mean,
Porn
I guess she
companies
got
don't
to.
give royalties.
Which I guess she got to because of her sucking and fucking. So, you know, good point. Good point. Whatever, we gotta go though. I gotta get in my meeting. I'm already late.
Bye, 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 bye,
Yeah,
bye, bye.
here's the plugs. 5-star reviews on Spotify, please, if you can. Let us know what you guys want us to talk about next week. If you guys have any topics, let me ask you guys for topics. Why not?
First new topic of the new year. Let's go.
Yeah, first new topic of the new year. We'll let it to the DDE audience to decide. Follow us wherever you get your podcasts on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or on YouTube at youtube.com/Nintoonist. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Leave us little notes in the comments below as well as on the notes on Spotify so we can hear them on Spotify for podcasters. And we love you. Shout outs to... Not that this is what this episode was about, but like this episode... Shout outs to... reconnecting and reconciliation and be moving past the demons and reconnecting with old acquaintances and old lovers and old friends.
And one more thing too from me. Sorry guys for my phone. If you guys ever feel that you're being peer pressured, I have these 2 steps for you. You want to hear them? You know, it's even less. It's even quicker than Lisa Ann's whole shtick. There's 2 things. 1, decline. 2, go home and play God of War. It'll change your life.
Amen.
Boy.
Boy.
Stop fucking those gold digging whores, boy.
Ooh, now that sounds racist.
Boy.
That sounds racist. I know it's not supposed to be, but like...
It's not racist.
No, I know, but like you said in the context of NBA players, if you said like most of them are black, imagine like saying that to them. You can't. That's what I'm saying. Like it's like imagine the God of War actor, Kratos is actor.
He's
is
black.
He is black, so he could say it. I guess.
He's black
but,
as fuck.
I know he is, but you know. All right, we love you all.
He's huge.
Bye. We love you all. Bye.
Christopher Judge, I love you. Fucking Jason Momoa ass looking motherfucker.